Alright, so now we're going to start our module on database normalization, which is very important to help us keep our database well structured. So what is database normalization? So database normalization is a process. It can be very theoretical, but we're going to keep it simple. Okay. Once you get to understand it, it's going to become very second nature. It's like riding a bike. In fact, it gets to a point where once you get it, if someone asks you what database normalization was, it can be somewhat kind of hard to explain the rules, but you'll understand the knack of it. So let's just dig in and start working with it, and you'll see what I mean by that. All right, so the main activity with regard to normalization is to organize databases into tables and columns, because after all, what we're trying to do here is to design a database. So the idea is that a table should be about a specific topic. Okay, so we want to make sure our tables are like laser focused on a topic, and that the columns within that table are supporting that topic and only supporting that topic. So we don't want a broad set of columns within the table. And we're going to look at that by using the spreadsheet scenario here. So we have a spreadsheet that contains information about salespeople, customers, and it serves several purposes. So there's lots of topics here, right? So it's identifying salespeople in the organization. It lists customers in the company that call upon people to sell a product, and it also identifies salespeople that call on specific customers. So this little this little spreadsheet we have here is doing a lot, and so it covers lots of topics and there's lots of columns, and it could really use some normalization. So let's start talking about some of the first and foremost steps that we could work on. Okay. And that is what are some of the topics that we can find within this table? So what are some of the topics you can think of? So before we go any further, I want you just to look at the screen and think about which set of columns might represent a topic on the screen, and just kind of mentally maybe draw a circle around those columns that you think would identify a topic. Okay, so the first one that I could think of would be employees, right? So we have the employee, the ID of that employee, and their name. So here we have salespeople, right? In fact, the whole spreadsheet is called sales staff. And then we have the office that employee works in. So here we have the sales office name and an office number for that office. And then lastly, we have the customers that employee calls on and that are served by that sales office. So there's three topics that quickly pop out of this spreadsheet. So in summary, normalization is a process we're going to use to organize a database into tables and columns, and a table should be about one topic. I don't want you to get too overwhelmed when we get into the rules of normalization. It can be very theoretical, and I'm going to make it as practical as possible for you so that you're able to understand it and have a good intuition as to when to apply it, and when you'll know whether a table is normalized and how to make it normalized if it's not. So I'll see you in the next lesson.